All right, welcome everyone to Productive Rest, the art of recharging effectively. Topic of rest is actually not as simple and straightforward for many people. We tend to get in our own way when it comes to rest through perfectionism, pushing through, overworking, trying to meet deadlines. It's all valid things, if you will. But all too often we wind up losing our balance in life. So we're going to talk about how to not just maintain balance, but to be productive while we're resting, hence the word productive rest. And the trick really is not to think of rest as downtime, not to think of rest as doing nothing. That's where the resistance comes in. That's when we stop allowing ourselves to rest, because we think we're not being productive, we're not being effective. And it's true, when we do rest kind of the old-fashioned way, we tend to get into numbing out mode, binge eating, binge watching, binge you name it. And we just do nothing and lay around on the sofa. And even just by that description, you can get a sense for how that doesn't feel right? If you've lived your day doing things a certain way, and now you have to just go into a coma mode, something's not right. The key to productive rest is to know what things do you enjoy doing. So that when one thing ends, either because you're tired or fatigued or it's time to clock out, that you actually have something else to look forward to. And this looking forward to is a key element to keep you going. It's a key element to keep the flow going, but it's also a key element to keep you coming back to what you were doing previously when you're rested up. And that just because it's time to switch your attention to something else doesn't mean you're not continuing your productivity. So there are different parts of us that do different things. You can call it the left brain, which is more logical, organizational, practical in essence, or the right brain, which is more creative, more passion-driven. You can talk about the physical, our physical needs, exercise, movement. You can talk about our emotional needs. You can be having a conversation so we can feel seen and heard with somebody that we love or respect. We can talk our spiritual needs of meditating and going within. So we have many different interests, every single one of us. These are universal elements, ingredients, if you will. We benefit from nurturing all those sides. Because if you do then reach that point where you have to engage with something that hasn't been nurtured, then it pulls you down. You feel like maybe the bottom has dropped out. You're not able to keep that momentum going, to then be able to come back to the next area of life. So the whole idea behind productive rest is by taking a rest from one part of you, by doing something else, you're staying in that productive vein, you're keeping the flow going, you're staying connected to life, to your aliveness, to who you are, to what drives you. In fact, doing those things, staying connected to the aliveness, keeps nurturing the thing that you're taking a break from. We just did a writer's retreat, and one of the essential lessons was, when you're not writing, you're not just not writing, you're preparing yourself for when you go back to writing. So when you're cooking, to be tactile, to take in the fragrance, to take in the smells, to take in the diversity and the shapes and sizes and colors. When you're walking, to be present and feeling your sensations, everything going on around you, the aliveness of it all. This isn't just a table, this isn't just a coconut over here, or this is a tree over here. Those are mental labels. And if you walk through every day, label, 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 labels are essentially dead, right? That's something that you know, you've compartmentalized it, you've put it somewhere in your brain. This is a tree, it's a general statement. And it completely disavows the aliveness of those elements. You can even just take a table and look at the grain and look at the craftsmanship and look at the colors. And it came from a tree and that was 100 years old and what it lived through. And I mean, just all the detail, brings that table to life and brings out its uniqueness compared to the next one. And in order to recognize that aliveness, when you recognize it, that activates your own aliveness. Because to go there, you have to bring that out in yourself. So suddenly you're surrounded by alive things and your own aliveness. And you keep that aspect going through all your different activities throughout the day. Then you're nurturing all the different parts of you that maybe you're not actively doing at the moment. You're taking a break, resting, but you're doing these other things that maintain the flow, maintain the aliveness, maintain your desire, the flow of inspiration. And the inspiration from one thing will spill over into all the other things.